Yo, what's up? I'm Omega, and this is Diverse Clarity. This is where we have those thought-provoking conversations about things that matter and some that don't. And we're doing it again. Season 3, what is this? Episode 4, I think it is. Here we go. Across the way, all the way from the USA, got the girl Darina up in here. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm great.
Okay, that's
Glad to be here.
Done. Nah, for real. Darina's here. It's your last week in the UAE, and you've come here to be a part of this podcast, which we sincerely appreciate. Thank you for putting yourself on loan, like it's one of them soccer teams out there in Europe somewhere. So we do appreciate it, and thank you to Alex for letting her go. Do we thank her for that? Yeah.
We can definitely thank Alex for being part of the reason why I'm able to be here. So
For sure. Yeah, of course, because if I didn't meet y'all online and then meet Alex and then join your podcast, then
it's all it would have never
effect. Exactly, right? Effect. And then sitting in the middle, we got the neighborhood hero.
Okay, I like that. Yep.
Miss Jessica, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah? Sure?
Yeah.
You all smiles this evening. What's that about?
No, I had a good morning.
What'd you do?
Opened up that throat chakra a little bit.
Yeah, went to the
Whoa. This show is intended for adults and young children. I'm saying
we went to the nature reserve. Thank you very much.
I don't know what that was about. I'm just saying.
We also went to the sand dunes after the nature reserve, and we did some intentional screaming.
We did.
That helps to open up the throat chakra, release some of that energy.
Nah, I was just trying to come back at you, and you know why I was trying to come back at you.
Do you want me to say now?
You know what?
Okay.
This woman.
Okay.
Moving right along. Going to the young lady to my immediate right, Miss Sarah. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, thank you.
Really
good, yeah.
All right. I'm ready to get into it.
Let's do it.
And as always, I'd like to thank everybody that's listening and everyone that is watching. We appreciate you. Without you, there would be an us, but with you, it makes us even more polarizing because it's you that's listening and getting us the attention that we want to have to get these conversations out and our opinions and thoughts heard. So thank you all. With that being said, question for everyone on the panel. Listen to my words closely when I ask this. Y'all ready?
Let me close my eyes.
Okay.
So I can really hear you.
In your opinion, it's like one of them game shows on Netflix, right? Where you gonna win $1 million, right? What is it? What was the one we were watching?
We got $1 million?
Bullshit.
No, you're not getting no $1 million here.
I wish.
Okay, all right, here we go. In your opinion, what is a woman?
God damn it.
That would be incorrect.
That is not my answer. That is not my answer.
Jessica, would you like to double down on this one and see if you can get it right? Okay. Wait a minute. I was going to say something, but I don't want to give away a definition. But I would imagine that being on the panel with 3 individuals of your caliber, you'd be able to answer this question with ease. What is a woman?
I feel a lot of things. And in this climate, this social climate and political climate that we are in now, you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Okay.
And going back to the whole sensitivity topic and all of that. But I feel like it can be subjective, but to a certain extent.
Please expound on that.
I feel like now with gender identity and everything of the sorts, everybody is trying to give a concrete definition of what being a woman is and femininity and how to express it and, how to define it. And I mean,
if you don't want to say the wrong thing or you feel like you don't have to sit
on it, I'm gonna have to sit on it for a second just to really get my thoughts wrapped around it because I do have opinions. My opinion is on both sides of the spectrum. I'll say that. I will say that.
Miss Sarah, what is a woman?
That is a really tough question.
Okay.
Because I feel the same way. Because I am coming from like a medical background and the way I kind of process certain things, I think I would just think about. My mind initially goes to biology, right?
Okay.
But I can never tell somebody the way they feel. If they feel a certain way, I can never say that's wrong, right? So I think when you initially, if I'm just going to be honest, initially when you asked me that question, I went to biology.
Okay.
But there are aspects of femininity and feminine nature that are in everybody, right? So that's where that polarity of like just not knowing exactly how to define a woman, for me, I think of initially biology, but I can never tell anybody that they're not a woman or they're not that they can't feel like a woman or
It's okay.
yeah, that's
So-
a really tough one.
It is.
But-
It is.
Yeah.
But Jessica, so I'm gonna change it up for you.
Okay.
What is a female?
Okay. I'm gonna let Jessica answer, but
Yeah.
that flips the switch a
Hang
little
on.
bit.
No, it doesn't. Those are two different words, and they've existed for a very long time. What is a female?
I don't know because I feel like I don't know whether or not it's like that I don't know what the difference between a woman or a female is, or like in my mind like they're both
The same.
the same. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't, and I didn't know how to answer the first question.
Right.
Because
It's okay. All right. Look. How about this? I'll tell you.
Do you have definitions?
I don't have definitions.
Okay.
No.
You wanna read me
For
the
those of you that are tuning in and or listening, watching or listening for the very first time, we do not, or I do not give the topics out to the team. Okay. They have no idea. They know the moment that they sit in these chairs. And the only time, I just have to say this, that I would tell them what the topic is if I feel that what we might discuss looks like it could maybe have somebody put in an uncomfortable position. And I just want to respect the individuals that are here. So they have no idea. I have no definitions. I just have points that I want to bring up, right? So, but for myself, right, when I think about a woman and or female, I personally think that a female is somebody who, how do I say this, can bear children, that can produce eggs, right? We're talking XY chromosome relation, male, female, that type of thing. This is the way that I look at a female. When it comes to a woman, I think that very similar to what you said, anybody could feel like a woman. I think with the woman, it's about your mannerisms. I think it's about your way of life. I think it's about your thought process. I think it's about your physical features. I think there are many things that could be attributes to a woman. But when we're talking about a female, I'm thinking about someone that can reproduce. They have reproductive organs that they were born with from the female side.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the way that I think about it. What were you going to say?
Like as soon as you introduced the female word, that was exactly where my thought process went, where that gives the differentiation of the biological part of it and the more spiritual, emotional, mental part of it. So it helps to give that distinction where people like to use woman as an umbrella, and it's like, well, you can't tell me I'm not a woman, but science exists for a reason, right? Biologically, it exists for a reason. So under certain terms and definitions and certain abilities having to do with your biological parts, yes, not everybody can be a female, but people can be a woman.
I think anybody could be a woman technically.
Yeah.
You know? And it's really funny. Like I remember doing studies and things like this. And I remember there was a song by a country singer. I want to say it was Shania Twain. I think, I feel like a woman.
Yeah.
And for me being an artist, I love that song because I love the play on words. Right? That was just me being the battle rapper. So, oh, snap, Shania got bars, right? Man, I feel like a woman. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. How does she feel like because if Yeah. So now, right, and this is something that I thought younger, but not to the level that I think about it as the man I am today, right? But when I think about things like that, I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe she's like now we're talking stereotypes and generalizations. Maybe she's a tomboy, right? She plays ball with the boys. She likes to wear jeans. She likes to wear a basketball jersey. She plays football or whatever. And then this weekend, she's putting on a dress. Man, I feel like a woman. You know what I'm saying? So this is the thought process that I have when I think about it. And I think that when it comes to the way that people speak, I think that nowadays people have blurred the definitions of words and people act like words don't matter.
Oh yeah.
And I still don't have the definition of woman and female. I mean, I could look it up while we're sitting here, but I think that people, kind of like what you were saying, they use the word woman and in the mind they're thinking female, right? Instead of referring to it as the way that it is or should or was intended.
Yeah.
And then with the dictionary constantly changing and words being added and definitions being changed around, like, I think this is a big part of what's going on. Okay, so with that aside, we were the other day watching a show. Do y'all watch 90 Day Fiancé?
No.
I do.
You do?
Not as
She
much
got
as-
excited. She got excited.
It's wild.
Like, she said, oh,
Not in a while, but yes,
Yes.
I do.
Okay, so we're watching the other day, and there is, I don't remember the name, but there is a young man, I will say, who is dating a woman, I think from Colombia, or is that right? Is it Colombia?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm
So-
pretty sure it's Colombia.
Young man dating a woman from Colombia or a Spanish speaking nation. I don't remember which one. And she is a woman, but the young man transitioned from being a woman to a man. And the person is about to fly down and go move with him. The episode, it's 90 Day Fiancé,
The other way around.
the other way. So those of you that are not familiar with the show, 90 Day Fiancé is a show. It started maybe over a decade ago, I think, but it's a show where it takes the story, it follows the people as they are dating somebody that they met online or they only met one time or on vacation or whatever it is. And they've decided that they want to marry the person. And so now they have 90 days based on a K-1 visa, USA, whatever paperwork. Based on a K-1 visa, they have 90 days to get married. And they've done a lot of spinoffs of the show. And this spinoff, 90 Day the Other Way, is where instead of an American bringing somebody from another country to the U.S., that person is now moving to their country and they are supposed to embark upon their relationship. And that is what this individual is doing.
Okay.
But the family does not know that who their daughter is dating or about to marry used to also be a woman. How would you guys feel if you were dating someone who now identifies and or has transitioned from the sex that they were marked at birth? I don't know what the right word for that is. The sex that they were when they were born,
Right.
the sex that they were given or labeled. I don't know the terminology, so forgive me. Maybe it'll come to me in the middle of this. But how would y'all feel if the person that you were dating, you find out that they didn't always used to be the sex that they currently present to you as?
I feel like I wouldn't know my definite answer until I was in that position. But
Imagine.
yeah, I mean,
Let's put you in that position right now. Let's say Vic. Here, let's do this. Since you
I'm in love,
you can relate to this.
Yeah, I'm in love. So to me, it would not matter. Like if I've fallen in love with someone, I'm in love with that person. I'm not, like I don't feel like that would be an issue for me. But like I said, like I would like. You don't know
Until you're in it.
right? Like you have to be in that
Well,
situation.
I mean, none of us
love is
are.
love.
Well, none of us are in it, right? But so I want us to try to answer this and think, because no one knows yourself better than you,
Yeah.
right? So think about it from a way of like, how do you think you would respond?
Yeah.
I mean, we say that stuff all the time, right? So we see something in the movies and the dude does something to the girl. If that was me, ooh, that motherfucker, ooh. So you can do it now. It's okay.
I think for me, it would really depend on how the information came to light.
There you go.
So for me, I feel like I've changed a lot in the past few years, and in terms of openness and willingness to understand people and understand where they're coming from. So a big value of mine is honesty and transparency. So if you came to me and said, you know, if we were getting to know each other, it's not like the first date, by the way, like, let me tell you right away. No, you have to trust me. You have to gain my like we have to build that connection. But if we're building that connection and we're sharing and you don't feel comfortable enough to tell me until further down, I think that would be an issue for me because I don't know if I could trust you.
Yeah.
So
This
that
is
would
how
be
I feel.
my
Absolutely
thing. Like,
agree.
when are you
That's
telling
mine.
me, and like, how are you telling me, and how long did you? Like, did it take you?
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
Right.
Like, don't wait until we're in the thick of it to be
Yeah.
like, hey, by the way, you know, or
Right.
even if it's not as nonchalant, like, don't wait to tell
Yeah.
me. When
Right.
you're comfortable and when we've built enough of, you know, that camaraderie and that transparency and that vulnerability where you.
No, that I don't agree with. I'm sorry. That part, no.
Well,
Which
no,
part?
I mean,
That-
within
the
a few,
being-
I'm saying
the
within
being-
a few weeks of communicating with each other consistently and and
being-
going back to the communication part and we're deciding, you know, what we're going for here, like, when you're comfortable, but also you have to respect my boundaries as well.
Right.
Like, don't wait until it's like, maybe we're about to get into a relationship. Like, again, it's about.
Does it have to, wait, I'm sorry. Does it have to be a relationship?
If we're
Well, I mean,
What if you're just dating?
I mean, I would want the information so that I can make an informed decision on if I want to
Yes.
go in. So that's what I'm
This
getting
is
at.
what-
I would
yeah,
want
but
to
I
be
need-
able to make an informed
I need
decision.
to know that from the beginning.
like how-
Naeem Howard, I am a heterosexual man. And if I get on a dating app or I go to a club or a bar or I'm performing at an event and I meet a young lady, I'm approaching her because I like what I see. Right?
Fair.
That's what it is. And what I think that I see is a young lady. So if you want me to respect, not you, you know, in general
I
speaking,
get what you're
right?
saying.
If you want me to respect you and your boundaries and your choices and your decisions, if I don't know this element about you, you've now put me in a position where I don't have a choice. You've taken my ability to make a decision, an informed decision, because I am a heterosexual man. And the same way someone that is gay or bi or whatever, a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, leave space for other alphabets soon, right? Whoever, the same way that they are prideful, as well they should be, I am also prideful as a heterosexual man. And that should not be taken away from me.
So when would you want them to tell you?
Immediately.
Like, yeah, and that-
Because I don't want to, I want to date someone who identifies as a woman, who was born with lady parts and falls into the category of female.
Both preferences have to be respected. I get what you're saying.
So
understand what
I
you're
just
saying
think it
completely.
has to be fair. I'm not trying to say that everybody needs to walk around. Let's not get this misconstrued. I'm not saying everybody needs to walk around and be like, I used to be. No, that's not my business. But if I approach you or you approach me, you're approaching me, if you are trans, as a woman. So I don't know what's between your legs. I don't know what's in your mind. I don't know what's in your heart.
Right.
All I know is you're approaching me as a woman. What I see is what I think I get. And then you want to.
But at that point, you're just approaching each other. So, like, are you talking about, like, if you decide to go on, like, a date or if you decide to spend the night at that point? Or, like, they're not just going to approach you and be like, by the way, I'm a man. Like, what?
Approaching. No, you're right, 100%. But when I say approaching, I mean approaching with intent. Approaching with intent to try to get at me. No, I just said that. I'm not.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to walk through the bar announcing themselves. That's dumb. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I don't think that is it. But if I look at the
If you're showing interest
look at the
in the
word that I'm
person.
using, right? If I approach a woman at a bar, what does it sound like I'm about to do?
That you're approaching with interest and
Right. We
intentionality,
typically
that you want to pursue them.
Thank you. We typically use that word. Be like, girl, this man approached me at the bar talking about some.
Yeah.
Right. So when I'm saying approach, right. So for the sake of definitions, I'm talking about approaching someone with the intent to potentially
Pursue
get
them.
something.
Yeah.
right? Not just, hey, that's a nice sweatshirt you got on. Where'd you get that from? By the way, I'm trans. That's dumb. I'm not saying that, right? So I feel that my rights and my choice should be respected as well.
Absolutely.
As well. Everybody has to. So I think we have to find some kind of a middle ground. And I don't know if this is a conversation that people are having. I don't know if this is something that is in litigation. Like, I don't know. But I just think that things are kind of getting out of hand. And watching that episode made me think about a lot of this. What you saying?
I can absolutely agree that, and again, as a queer identifying person, too many lines are being blurred where it's just like we have to respect everybody's identity. So in order to be inclusive of the LGBTQ, it's a lot. Okay. In order to be inclusive of them, that does not mean that we erase heterosexuality. And that's what's starting to happen here.
Yes, I agree.
I absolutely 100% see where you're coming from and agree.
Sorry. For example, I'd like to think of myself as a masculine man, but it seems like things that men do that are masculine, they automatically put this label of toxic in front of it because you try to reinforce that masculinity, right? Like if my son as a younger boy, I mean, he's 19 now, but if my son fell down and was like, get up, shake it off. I'm not trying to tell him he shouldn't cry. I just want him to be strong. I want him to be a man the way I was taught to be a man, or what I perceive being a man is like. I also cry. I've cried recently. I almost lost my wife due to medical reasons. I cried a lot, but I'm still a man. It doesn't mean that because I do things that are noted as masculine, that it's automatically toxic because I have oomph behind it. When I speak, when I walk, when I talk, and my thoughts are man, and nobody's going to take that away from me. You understand what I'm saying? And the same way that everyone else has pride in the parade, in the life, in the decisions, I have it too. So I just think that it needs to be respected on all sides. And we have to find a way, honestly, to make it, because this, when I saw this, right, I started thinking, I'm like, whoa, okay. I mean, the girl is okay with it. And when he said, and she's like, it's fine. And, the intimacy is amazing. And okay, all these intimate details about their relationship. But then I was thinking like, what about the family?
But wouldn't that be on the girl herself, like the one that's living in that Latin American country to tell her family? Like at that point, she's the one introducing this person. If she knows and she's comfortable with it, wouldn't it be her, not responsibility,
I
but
get
like,
what you mean. Yeah.
it's like, I'm inviting you to come to my country to be a part of my life. I can't necessarily expect you to kind of just like jump in and speak to my family. Like I have to kind of, at least for me, if I was in that person's shoes, I think I would expect the person that I love to introduce me to their family as I am, for who I am, because that's how I'm coming, So that's where my mind goes. Like, I understand what you're saying, but
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do wholeheartedly. I think it depends on the dynamics of the relationship and the individual's upbringing, right? Because we also look at things, I mean, I believe it was Colombia, but I think it's safe to say it's most likely a Christian, or let's say a Catholic community family, right? Okay. So with that, most likely it's the man is going to ask for the hand of the daughter in marriage, right?
Yeah.
So the onus could be also on the man. And I honestly don't remember the details of the relationship, but I do believe they were intimate, and then the man said it after they were intimate together.
Oh.
Yeah, because things were working. So it was like, it was one of those, oh yeah, by the way, I used to be you.
Well, yeah, I know. I think that is. I think that
like,
actually was the case, because she was just like, he looked so much like a man. Like she was actually shocked at the fact that he was born a woman, and she was able to accept it. But I do remember like a part of the show where he was like, I don't want my anything here to be a secret,
right?
Just because she was very hesitant about telling her family, more so specifically like how her father would react. And she just let it be known that there is like an undertone of homophobia
in the family.
And so
I
that's why
remember
she
that.
was so hesitant, because she was just like, well, I don't want to have to choose, because she's at a place where it's like, I've accepted it, but she just doesn't know when she feels like it's the right time. And it's like, I absolutely agree that it is up to her to create that space. So it's like, you haven't given your family any type of insight about what's going on, and I'm supposed to come here and tell them that I'm transgender and like I'm moving here to be with you and marry you. Like, it can create a lot of conflict just between them two, and the transparency and vulnerability between them two as a couple. So it's like, there has to be some sort of bridge. There has to be some sort of space created for him to know that even if they don't accept me, they know.
Yes.
And again, it's about being informed.
Clarify something for me, and I'm going somewhere with this. What is bisexual?
When you're attracted to both genders.
Okay. What is gay?
Well, more so when you're attracted to either one or the other.
Right. Either one or the other. Okay. If a person who considers themselves heterosexual were to have sex, be intimate with another person, let's say a trans individual, a man is with a woman, that woman used to be a man. Does that then alter, by definition, that man's sexual preference or sexuality when it comes to that scenario? By definition, right? You're in a relationship, you like the person, they're being with someone. Does that forcefully change that person's sexuality?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because
No?
I feel like our bodies are a shell of us, right? Like,
Okay.
and kind of like you were speaking about before, a woman, if you have the parts of a woman and I approach you thinking you're a woman and I see a woman, then I'm attracted to that woman. So I think that person probably fell in love with the internal of that person and the external. So now if the externals changed, it hasn't changed how you, I guess, like, actually feel about the other sex. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's coming across or if I'm explaining it.
The
properly.
first half did. No, I mean,
No,
really,
yeah,
but because I want you to be clear. Diverse clarity.
Right. Let me clear it up a little bit. Let me clear it up.
No, but the first part I get. So
Yeah.
it's you fell for what you saw, which was the shell, and you fell for what was inside that person.
Right.
And then something changes.
Yes.
The shell.
The shell.
And the shell is now, you learn, was the opposite of what it was.
But what you physically initially became attracted to and are still currently seeing is what you're normally attracted to. I don't think that changes your orientation in my mind.
Yeah.
Now do you guys understand why I'm saying I believe that it needs to be disclosed in the beginning?
Yeah.
Because of exactly what you just said. You're putting the individual in a position to fall in love with the shell and then give them the inside. It's no different than the TV show Catfish. We were just talking about Catfish.
We were.
Right? So we were just talking about, it's the same thing, right? And I've watched many of these episodes. I love Catfish, right? Come back, Max.
We miss you.
So I love Catfish, but it's the same thing in a way, right? I mean, let me rephrase that because I don't want to. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, because
I am not saying that someone who is transsexual or transgender, is that right? Yeah.
Transgender.
I'm not saying someone who is transgender is tricking people. I'm not saying that someone who is transgender is catfishing people. What I'm talking about is the falling for, the instance of falling for. And if I fall for someone, if I fall for a being that looks like a human woman, right? That's what I fell for. We all have personalities on the inside. And if I'm not mistaken, none of our personalities have a sex next to it, right? Okay, I believe that's probably why men can become best friends with men, because it's what's inside that connected those two on a friendship level. Likewise with women and whatever, okay? So I'm not saying that. But if you have an individual who presents himself as one way, and I feel that that's what I'm getting, then it comes back to what you said. I fell for the shell. And I fell all into the insides. And then now you're like, Hey, this is Neve and Max. We're calling from an MTV show called Catfish, and we've got Sarah with you, and she wants to meet. And it's just like,
because I mean, even though people like try to get away from it, your physical appearance is what draws people to you, and vice versa. You feel what I'm saying? Based off of what they are attracted to and what their preference is. So yes, the physical, it does matter, because we see things first and then everything else gets perceived afterwards. So with that being said, it can be misleading. Not a trick or anything like that. It can be misleading.
The right word.
Yes, misleading.
And
Yes.
I am expressing my attraction to you because of how you present, and then there's underlying layers that can change that. Not to say that it changes who you are internally as a person, but again, there may be a part of you that is not a part of my preference and not a part of my attraction, and I have every right to express that. Everybody has every right to express that, and that's why I'm saying this erasure of heterosexuality is just
remember that, because that wasn't a point that I was going to bring up, but you brought something to my mind. But my follow-up question with what I was asking was, if you find out later in life that someone that you know, personally or otherwise, you find out that they are transgender, does it change your opinion about them?
No, because it doesn't change who they are.
but it can change your attraction to them, and
And
that is
Okay, wait. Let me clarify. I'm not just talking about relationships.
But that's
A person that you know. So I'm speaking about it in general, right? Someone that you know, someone that you see, someone that you're familiar with, whatever. You find out that they are transgender. Does that change your opinion about them?
No.
I don't think so. No.
I think so.
It can. I mean, I feel like it can be.
Look, and I didn't say for the bad, right? But who here is a basketball fan? You know what?
Wah, wah, wah.
Who here knows what basketball is?
It's the one with the hoops, right?
They dribble a ball or something like that. There's a court. And
Wow.
Wow. I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you
There's
this.
like an NBA, something like that.
Is it?
Okay.
NBA?
You know what?
I wasn't sure.
You know what? Your jokes are still really
I thought it was funny.
smell like this one's
I think you
feet.
did well.
Oh,
You're so disrespectful.
really?
I know. I just don't
jokes
even.
is
I let it
still-
roll off. It doesn't bother me.
You'll never
What?
hear the end of anything.
What clutter nutter?
I just said you will never hear the end of anything with this guy.
Okay, do you guys know who LeBron James is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Heard of him.
What if, you know what? Stop it.
No,
Stop it.
I've heard of him. I don't know who he is.
Do you know
but
who
I've heard of him.
Jay-Z is?
Yeah.
Why would you stutter on it?
That
Stop
hesitation.
it.
Like,
I'm
okay,
really
I know
down.
there might be a
Seriously.
little cultural thing. Okay, but for real.
Michael
No,
Jackson.
Beyonce's.
Michael Jackson?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Chris Tucker?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No?
Yes.
Yes? Well, I mean, good God,
Yeah,
people.
but it takes
Alicia
amazing-
Keys?
Yes.
I mean, you know, I know all these people.
Okay. What if you found out that one of those or all of those people were transgender? I think it would change my opinion. And the reason they're saying that is because if I learn that Michael Jordan used to be a woman, and Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players of all time, quit thinking negative, y'all. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time, if not the greatest player. You telling me that wouldn't change your opinion? And then even look at women's sports differently? Like, yo, why they gotta have the WNBA? They used to be Michael Jordan. They can ball with the best of them. So really, yes, it would change your opinion, because it depends on who this person is and who and how they've affected you in your life. Each one of y'all went to a negative place. I saw it in your eyes. But yes, it would change my opinion. If I learned that Michael Jackson was I'll probably be like, okay, now it makes sense. But
yeah,
again,
I
it would
get what you're
change
saying.
my opinion.
When you introduce new information, you
Yes.
now have new connections to make in
Yes.
your brain based off of what you've already known about this
Alicia
person.
Keys used to be a man.
Yeah, I
You
feel
telling me that's not going to change your opinion?
No, I get what you're saying.
Come on,
Yeah.
right? Quit thinking negative, ladies.
It's not just negative. I think I just initially went to like
Negative.
a friend.
It's
like,
a social
someone that I'm
conditioning,
like,
though.
oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
like I met you 2 years ago. Like that's where my
No.
like,
What I mean negative, as in like I'm asking the question where it's like, oh, Jessica,
now I
Jessica
don't
used to
like
be a man.
accept
Oh,
you
I
now.
can't hang out with her no more. Ew.
Oh no.
Like that. That's what I mean by negative. Because first thing you said was like,
And that's
it doesn't
a
change
social
who they are.
conditioning that
Right?
like That's people's
Right.
first like place that their mind goes, because it's conditioned to think like, oh, now I'm automatically rejecting you altogether, where it's more so just like, I actually just have to reframe my perspective. And again, not in a negative way, but I just have to add in this information, just so I understand who you are in the totality
Right.
of everything that I now know. So I get what you're saying.
So with that, I think that gender does matter. Like the revealing of gender does matter. And hiding such a thing in various circumstances is not good for society. My humble opinion. The fact that we can sit here and list people, and you guys understand what I was doing now. You can list people, and each one of those people that I listed, and I'm sure you can think of 10 more on your own, if you thought that or you learned that those individuals, there was a change, it would change your opinion about them. If it was Dave Chappelle, if it was Chris Rock,
You know who's a good example?
you know what I'm saying? What's my guy? Patrice ONeal, right? All of these comedians, Bernie Mac, right?
Bernie.
What do they usually say about women? Women ain't funny. Women don't know how to tell stories. But these individuals that I'm listing are some of the best storytellers on the face of the earth, are some of the funniest people, regardless of how you feel about comedy. They just are. Their status has proven it. Their success has proven it. They're some of the funniest people on earth. But we sit back and we say that women don't know how to tell jokes. We say that women don't know how to tell stories. Y'all actually don't. But we say that. And so it definitely, did I say that out loud? My bad.
You did.
The whole internet.
Recorded and everything.
It's all good.
I heard that.
Come see
I
about
heard
me.
that.
Come see about me. It's all good. But I'm just saying, like, hey.
Nah, women do suck at telling stories sometimes. Come on now. We give too many details sometimes.
But I think details are important.
It depends on the subject.
But then-
Sometimes you can
No.
just get to the
Yeah,
point.
Like
Get to the
Shonda
point.
Rhimes, she's a beautiful storyteller.
No. Shonda writes the story.
Yeah.
She don't sit around friends and say, y'all, check this out. Listen what happened last weekend. No. That's
If
not
she
what
did,
she
I'm sure it'd be beautiful.
You think so?
I think so.
Sometimes just get to the point, ladies.
I-
As a woman, sometimes just get to the point.
I sent
Yeah, I'm one of those though. I like detail too, so I'm like,
I like go off to like
I get
5
annoyed.
stories.
I'm
Look, I-
in between. I'm like, okay, yeah, what else? But I'm like, okay, can we hurry this up? Like, get to the
It's
end.
like what actually was the conversation about now?
yeah, I know. I'm like, oh shit, I forget.
I sent my wife a video. I don't know if she watched it yet, but it's a comedian who's passed away, Patrice ONeal. He's one of my favorite comedians. And I'm not going to try to tell the joke because I would mess it up. But Patrice ONeal, he was saying like, you know, something like being at home and I think like your wife calls you like, babe, come here for a minute, you know. And he's like, what do you want? You know, like, oh, here we go, right? And it's like, she got a story to tell. He's like, wait, I need to know the end of the story first before you go on with the story. And then it's like, okay, so Sarah got shot. And he was like, okay, you can go ahead. Tell me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then he mentioned something in there. He's like, so she says like, you know Jessica? And he's like, no, I don't know Jessica. And she's like, now I got to tell you this hour-and-a-half long story about who Jessica is to get to the thing. And I'm just like, that's pretty accurate. Like, and y'all laughing because y'all
Again,
know.
as a woman,
'Cause y'all
I
know.
can agree. I can absolutely
Babe,
agree.
you don't remember Jessica?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But I mean, if you tell me the point, then it's just like I can listen to more of the details to understand how we got to this end goal.
So lesson is tell the end of the story first.
Yeah, and then add the details in.
And then the person can help you remember what the story was too.
Yeah, just say the end of the story and then we'll decide if you should move forward
Oh,
with
jeez.
it. Yeah,
They're probably
If you
tapped
wanna
out
hear
for
the
the
story, I'm still gonna
details.
tell that.
I mean, if you tell the end first, they're probably tapped out for the details, but they'll listen.
Right.
yeah.
I want active listening.
Yeah, men out there.
Nah, I can just talk at you. It's all right. I'll just talk at you. It's fine.
Look.
I just need to voice it vocally.
Oh, okay.
Men, if I can give you all any kind of tips in this type of situation, if she says something to you while she's telling you this story, and then she says, "Are you listening to me?"
The answer is always
and
yes.
you say yes, and you're lying, you know what she's gonna say. Okay, what did I just say? So make sure you got your ducks in a row, fellas, because it's serious. All right, back to this. So this has been you. This is hitting the nerve, right? This is you, right? See, I know what I'm talking
I
about.
still don't think there's anything wrong with it.
You share those details. I support you.
Golly, wow. Okay, when it comes to the transgender partners, right? Do you think? I mean, I'm gonna try to think about it from the other side too, because we're being diverse with this. Do you think that a transgender individual must disclose throughout the relationship that they have gone through a change? And when I say that, I believe I'm also thinking about people who may have been born with both reproductive organs and a decision had to be made, right? So do you think that an individual must disclose this information? Or do they have some sort of right where they're able to hold on to it for the rest of their lives and they are living and being as they are? What do y'all think?
No.
That they do not have to disclose or that they must disclose?
What we're talking about in a relationship.
Right.
Yes.
You're in a relationship before intimacy that
Yes.
you must disclose.
Yes.
I would say so too.
Hard yes. I'm sorry. Like hard yes.
I feel like I'm like,
What if it happened like at a really young age? And like I said, there are individuals, I don't know, what's the term? Is it hermaphrodite? Okay. So I didn't want to get it wrong. I don't even know if that's like the wrong word to use nowadays.
Right,
They'd be like, oh, is that okay?
I mean, that's the medical term, correct?
Medical term.
Okay.
But retarded was a medical term as well at one point. And now that's gone. So you got to keep up. I don't know. Not you. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying they would have updated it. I hope we would have known by now. But.
Right. But I mean, so we never know. If we're saying something that's offensive, I do apologize. There's a little bit of ignorance with the intelligence that is on this panel. So
And we're trying to be as politically correct as we can.
yeah, so
Definitely.
show some grace with us. That's another thing, man. Like show grace. Good God, like you've said it in the other show. Show grace. Okay, but what do y'all? So everybody says yes, they have to disclose.
Yeah.
But what are the parameters? What if it was a child who was born with? Because typically in those situations, doctors are making a decision
For them.
right there.
Yeah.
You know this better than anyone. I mean, I'm saying because you're an stop. Yo, come on. She's a nurse. Like, come on, let's go. Come on. So, but yeah,
That's, you know what, until you said it would have happened, like consider if it happened as a child, I think it would have been like, well, I still feel like it's a hard yes for me personally. Like they should disclose. But yeah, I didn't really have time to think about if this did happen as a child, like where this is all you really know, but you might have technically been biologically born with both. That's really tough because I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. But I still feel like for me, I would want to know. So I would say, but I'm not in those shoes. I don't know.
I would want to, because if the information is disclosed to the person, because, you know, sometimes their parents tell them, sometimes their parents don't. And in the case that you do know, I would want to know because there is a possibility that it could affect your current identity now. Because just like the point that you made, if the choice was made for them, either by the, well, if they're a child, obviously the choice is made for them.
Yes.
And then later down the line, you're like, they chose this part for me, but I feel more like the other. You get what I'm saying? So then that's also something that I would want to know, where it's like, okay, have you or may you consider reverting back to the other? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where it's just like, as an adult, knowing that information, if that does start to affect your identity somewhere down the line and you want to connect to the side that, like, let's say you don't connect with the gender that was chosen for you and you want to connect to the other side, if you're getting into an intimate relationship with somebody, they need to know the possibility that maybe their partner may change somewhere down the line, and if they can accept that or not.
And what is intimate though? That's my thing. Like, what are we talking physically intimate? Are we talking emotionally intimate? Because
I would think physically.
Okay.
Because we're talking about like long-term relationship.
Yeah, I would think.
So
Okay, just clarify.
I mean, because I think we can be emotionally intimate on the first date. I know I was with my wife. I was emotionally intimate on the first date. So that's how I got it, y'all.
Okay. Wow.
I was like, hey, girl.
No,
No, y'all don't want to. No,
no.
I can't talk about that. You
I mean, if you want to have a little story time, then we can.
Direct.
I was direct.
Okay.
What's your intentions with me? For real? Okay. And that's what it was. All right. So last question I want to ask. So when it comes to the whole gender world and people transitioning, or what is age appropriate? What is age appropriate when it comes to this? As we have, I mean, I've seen stories where we're talking 4 or 5-year-old children are telling mommy and daddy that they feel like they're a little girl, or vice versa. I think there was even a show about a young girl named Jazz. I am Jazz. Jazz was like what, 6 or 7 in the beginning. There was a whole show, and I think now even as a young adult, she's maybe like 20. I don't know how old she is, but she's in her 20s, and this was a young boy that said at a very young age that, and I don't know the process. I don't know if Jazz has like gone through. I imagine there's been a surgery.
The last I saw, she was looking to get surgery, but this was when she was like 17. So I think it was like at that point where in the next year or so she'd be able to make the choice for herself and make these changes permanent. Right. So I didn't really keep up, but yeah, I do remember that.
Got it. Yeah. So what do you think? What is there a cutoff age? Does it matter? Is it all case by case? Like, how do y'all feel about that?
I feel like it is partially case by case. I feel like in these instances, when it comes to the permanence of actually changing the anatomy of the child, it needs to wait. I feel like it needs to wait. I feel like you can allow the child to identify and, bring on the traits of the gender that they identify with. But when it comes to the permanence of literally changing their body parts, hold off until because again, medically and scientifically speaking, the brain does not fully develop until a certain age.
What is it? Like, it's different for boys and girls, right? That's a good point though.
And and then even with hormones and everything that, all of that has to be a factor. So I definitely feel like the permanence of gender reassignment, it needs to wait. I don't know what age particular. I would say around the time where the brain is more fully formed and developed, and that way they've now had time to live in the identity of the gender, and they can decide if I'm sticking with this. I really want to do that transition, and now that they are an adult, they can go about making a full-blown decision, because I have seen stories where children
they want to go
and
back,
they're like, I regret it. This is a thing. This is a thing. So we can't.
Definitely. I can give you some links. It is
a thing. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. Even I saw one that the person was older, but he was like, it's done now, but he transitioned to a woman, and he's like, yeah, but I was doing it, going through this back when, it was the crack age, right? Like, I mean, I'm just trying to be funny. I'm just saying, like, the reference of time. Because you know what I mean? Because when you think about it, right, it's like, okay, this wasn't really a big thing. It was very undercover. This is kind of new. Right. But when you have somebody that's in their 60s and they were born as a man, but now they present as a woman, he's like, yeah, I did this a long time ago, and it's different now. And he's like, but I wish I would have never.
I would say that's another point too. As new information comes out, you get what I'm saying? It's just like
it's an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, because the more research I do about the mind and body, and I'm recognizing how much we don't know how to say yes to our yeses in our body. So it's hard, because when you're a young child, if something genuinely feels off and you're constantly told you're wrong, you start to internalize feeling like you're always doing things wrong, right? So I think it's important to honor that yes in your body and know how to say when something just doesn't feel right, if you're living wrong. But permanent changes, I don't feel like should be made, just like you said. But that's such a tough.
Last piece of that then.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you the question in general, right? What if it's your child?
How you waiting? They waiting. I'm not.
Would you even allow them to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why would you allow them?
I feel like I know that I know what my answers towards all of these questions are, but I'm having a very hard time trying to.
It's okay. We'll take time to get them out. No problem.
It's been with all of these questions, I know that last one, I don't think I'm a hard yes. No, I know I'm not a hard yes.
Okay. Okay, well let me ask you this. Like, let's break it down. So if it were your child,
Yeah.
you would allow your child to transition.
Yeah, like, but the same as what Doreena's just said, like, it's, yeah, like waiting until like a certain age until the child has like fully developed, just like making sure that that isn't going to end up being something, you know, later on down the line that, yeah.
I just want to be sure. Are you ladies in the mindset of you put time limits on certain things? For example, you go out on a date with somebody, I'm gonna wait 3 days before I give a kiss. I'm gonna wait 90 days before I give up the cookie. I'm gonna wait 120 days before I invite them over to my house. Like, do you have she's smiling, she might. So do you have like these stamps of time on actions that are related to a relationship or just things that you do, period? Like, yeah.
I would have said like 100% yes.
That's all on your face.
No, but like, that's why I'm saying things change so much from like, not even just from year to year, even from like sometimes conversation to conversation, it triggers you, or you think of something, you're like, I've never even considered that and how it applied to me. So if you talked to me literally like a year and a half ago, I would have been like, my answers probably would have been so different. So yes, I would have said in terms of time, yeah, definitely had like a strict rule for like when things should happen, but I feel things have changed. Things have changed, let's just say.
Cloud, have mercy.
And that's why when you said like, if it was my child,
right,
what would I do? That to me is so hard because I grew up in a very Christian background, and the way I'd like to respond is different than how I think I might respond in the moment. So I think my heart would be like, just be open and welcoming and just jump in and support. But I think it would actually take me time to get to that place where I put my ego aside, my ideas and dreams for my child aside, and like deal with the situation at hand. So I think that's where it would be really tough to reconcile.
I asked that because I felt like the answer that was coming from you ladies was more like giving it time. You were piggybacking off of what she said, and then I kind of saw your face light up. So I'm like, okay, everybody seems to be like on a time scale is what I'm picking up, right? But I think about it like this. If you're open enough, right, to allow your child to be introduced to and potentially go through a transitioning phase. We're talking while they're a child. Not once they're an adult and they moved out and they're doing it on their own. While they're a child. If you're you three, this is not an example. If you three are open enough for that, I would make a bold assumption and say, you probably are in tune and in touch enough with your child to where, depending on his or her circumstances and their personality, you might make it or allow it to be a little bit earlier because you're so in tune with that child. You're so understanding. You have such an open mind.
That was literally going to be my next point.
I think that this time scale that it seems like you guys are pushing or that I'm seeing, I'm like, I'm not saying that you're liars, but I don't believe you.
Yeah,
but I say that with respect because you come across as very understanding individuals. So to sit here and be like, I think like 17 months would be like, I think 8 years. I think 17 is it. Like, I don't believe it. I think that you're a different kind of parents. I think that you would be open to your child, open to the situation, and you would make a decision based on that. I think to the point of if you had 2 children and both wanted to transition, you might feel that one of them is okay to do it at age 9 and the other one is like, nah, your ass wait until 16. Yeah. Like, you ain't ready for this.
As far as the development part, like it depends on when it would be first introduced. And then it's like, okay, let's sit with this and see when how much it develops. So it's not like it's a specific timestamp, but time is a part of it as far as like, again, continually going through the transition and allowing them to adapt their aligned identity and then determining when would be the appropriate time for them, depending on their individual development.
I couldn't do that. I'll be honest with you. If I answer my own question, I need help. If I had to make that decision as a parent, I don't think I can muster the decision on my own. Honestly,
That's where
I don't think I think I would need therapy. I think I would need to consult with doctors, and I'm not talking about psychological doctors. I'm saying doctors to understand certain things, risk, complications.
Yeah.
Like there's so many elements to this that it's not just about I'm the child and this is how I feel. It's like what you want to do could change your life or take your life on so many different levels. I'm not smart enough I can't make that decision. So I applaud y'all. If this is how you feel and this is the way you move forward, salutes. But I couldn't. I not saying that I couldn't do it. I would need a lot of help.
It's development on both behalf, on both sides. Like as a parent, it would take a lot of further development once it's introduced to me and I'm actually actively in the experience of dealing with it. Because the first thing that came to my mind and my main concern would be like, I don't want to be responsible for something that you wind up regretting. Because again, if you're at a younger age and I'm the parent, yes, I'm taking into consideration what you're saying and how you feel, but the decision is mine because I'm the one that has to take you to the doctors. I'm the one that has to take you. So it's like, it's on both sides where it's like, again, I don't want to internalize that, but that would be a part of it as a parent because I'm the one that allowed you to do it versus giving you the boundaries to be like, maybe not right now. Let's wait. Let's, again, go to the therapy, go to the doctor so that you really have a full comprehensive understanding of what it is doing, that you're potentially wanting to do. And then again, just a part of that development part of the child individually. And taking all of those factors into consideration.
Well, what I take is from this is everyone deserves to and needs to be respected.
Absolutely.
And I think it's everybody's responsibility to practice that. I don't believe that my feelings or my rights should be overshadowed
or erased.
I don't feel they should be overshadowed because somebody else feels that their rights are more important than mine, or due to the current climate in the media or in society that they are more polarizing than mine. Because I think that maybe nowadays people look at men or heterosexual men or heterosexual women and it's like, that's old news. This is the new. And if you're not with this, then you're against it. And you're automatically a homophobe, and it's just like it's too much. I don't even like that word, homophobic, because like when you say like phobic, right? Like doesn't that mean like the fear of? Like, I'm not scared of somebody because of who they want to be intimate with. I'm not scared of you. I might disagree with certain things. I might think that things need to take time. And I'm just speaking in general. I'm not even saying me. I'm just saying like for anybody that may feel a certain way, like a Christian person or a Catholic or whatever, a religious person, they may not necessarily fear these people, but their beliefs speak against it. But then they're automatically labeled homophobic because they have an opinion that goes against what that agenda or that movement or whatever is, and then it's just too much.
It goes into the thing of like, I don't like. You can disagree with somebody's like we're in a time where it's like you absolutely have to agree and have to accept everybody's lifestyle or you're a phobic. Where it's like I don't have to agree. I can respect it. Respect is the word that we like. I can respect it. I don't have to agree though, because that's not for me. And if it goes against my beliefs, I can still give you respect, but I don't have to accept it for me as what's right or wrong.
I mean, that sounds great. And if it was in an essay or a thesis statement, it would be amazing. But the problem is they've blurred the lines between what respect is or fear or whatever, right? It's like, just because you don't accept it, you're this, and you're. The labels are all thrown off. But like I said, the bottom line is we need to respect everyone. We need to make sure that the way that we live our life does not impede upon somebody else's way to live their life, and their personal decisions have nothing to do with us. And not that I'm trying to belittle it, but when it comes down to homosexuality, lesbian, gay, all these, I don't know what they said it was like
All the
99, no, not the acronyms, but, or the pronouns, but they said it was like 99 ways like people that identify now. And I'm just like, I couldn't, what, doesn't Allah have that many names? Like, I don't know, like really 99. So I don't know what that is, but I feel like, how do I put this? It seems to be the identification is more about the sex, the intimacy. Really.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if somebody says that they are lesbian, what's different from her and the girl down the street? Like, they like different or the same things. When she's a lesbian, she's identifying who she wants to be intimate with, to be sexual with. When a guy is gay, what's different from him? I played ball with plenty of gay dudes. They dunking on people. They bodying people. What's different from him and the other guys? Who he goes home with, right? So it's like, everything is about sex.
Yeah.
It's ultimately what it comes down to. I don't care who you got in your bedroom. And don't you dare try to peek over my walls. Like, it is what it is, you know? But hey, yeah, that's how I feel about that. Listen, across the way is Miss Dorina. And in the middle is Miss Jessica. And to my media writers, Miss Sarah. And I am Omega. This is Diverse Clarity. This is where we have those thought-provoking conversations about things that matter and some that don't. I think it's safe to say that in this episode, it actually did matter. So thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you next episode.